The majority of people have either told somebody to change their tone of voice or been told themselves that somebody didn't like your tone. So how do you go about changing the tone of your voice to ensure that it is congruent to your message and that people are tuning in and listening to what you have to say? This video is not about actually changing the vocal tone of your voice if you're looking for vocal coaches or actual vocal training. This video is about, in a conversation with somebody else, how do you modify the tone to ensure that the person that you're speaking to is hearing your message clearly, and that the emotion that you're looking to convey and the presence that you are looking to put forth is also conveyed in your voice. This topic is something that is a common complaint in a lot of people and conflicts that we deal with at Korero Solutions. And within that, I really wanted to make a video to help you out now. My first question is, does your tone of voice change based on your emotions? And the answer is an emphatic yes. Your tone of voice 100% changes based upon your emotions. Think about how somebody sounds when they're happy versus when they're angry, sad, confused, lonely, surprised. Immediately, I know that you can see this and hear this in your head, how their voice changes substantially and influences how people view them. So here are the steps that you can take today and start implementing in order to ensure that your tone of voice conveys the message that you want. Step 1, get in touch with how you are feeling. Now, this does not need to be all touchy-feely, but as we looked at before, how you are feeling reflects in your tone. Are you excited about an upcoming opportunity and need to express that to your team? Or are you feeling apprehensive? Because that is going to come through in your tone. Before you even enter into a conversation, figure out what stories are going on in your head about what you're going into this conversation about. Are you excited to have this conversation with the other person? Are you happy that you get to have this conversation with the other person and looking forward to it? Yes. Or on the other side, are you afraid of having this conversation? Do you fear the worst? Are you upset with the other individual or about the situation that's happening? Those are going to come out in your voice. So make sure that you are very clear about what message you want to convey and what emotion you want to convey in your voice. When you're asking yourself questions, to try to get clear on how you are feeling about it and try to tap into the emotion. Ask yourself, when I think about whichever situation it is, I feel, and place it there. Now, to do a bit deeper work, think how you actually want to feel. And what could you do in order to actually tap into those emotions? So instead of, I feel afraid about having this conversation with my staff, I feel excited about having this conversation with my staff because it will allow them to grow as an employee. Shifting your mindset is going to shift your frame of mind and thus change the tone that you approach it in. Ensure that what you want to express is going to be congruent to how you want to express it. So if you need to be excited about something and you are feeling lackluster or like you actually have no desire to convey this message, it's going to come out in your tone. I'm going to refer to the 7% rule here, which I understand is often misused, but it is still an important statistic. And within that, it says that 7% of what somebody takes in with your information is words. The rest comes down to tone and body language. This is why tone is so important, no matter what percentage we want to associate to it in that context. You need to ensure that your tone and your body language are congruent and mesh with the message that you want to convey. If you want to convey inspiration. You need to feel inspiration for it to come out in your voice. If you want to convey displeasure and upset, you need to genuinely feel those in order to convey them in your tone for those words to actually sit and resonate with your audience. The last part of our first step is going to be about breathing. If you decide to take the stairs right before you need to give a big presentation that you're excited about and you're huffing and puffing and struggling to get through it, you are not going to be able to convey your message as clearly as somebody that goes and sits in the room, gets fired up, centers themselves, and does what they need to in order to start embodying those emotions first. So make sure that you have time to take those breaths. Take in the oxygen that you need for your brain to actually function to its highest ability. Hi, my name is Crystal and I'm a mediator with Korero Solutions, a company dedicated to helping you become the leader that you and your organization deserve. Your second step is going to be what to do during the conversation. This is going to start with aligning your body with your brain. Scientifically, it's been shown that our brain actually follows our body. So if you are able to put yourself into a posture that you are confident, that you are assured, or that you are excited, your tone is going to follow that. If I were to sit here and start closing in on myself and close up my airway, I naturally start to get quieter. But if I open up my chest and I sit tall, naturally I sound more confident. Make sure that your body and your energy is able to match the tone that you want. Yes. As an exercise, if this is something that's really resonating with you, stand in your room, and you don't even have to say the words out loud, because I know I'm not one of those people that likes to shout stuff out when there's a bunch of people in my house. So take time, and you can go into a private space or do this in your bathroom or a closet. And if you are angry about something, get into that angry stance and feel how you are. Are your shoulders up? Are they in? Are they out? Where is your body? Make mental note of that, because if you want to switch it and you're able to figure out, oh, I'm in an angry stance right now, or I'm in a frustrated stance, or I'm in a shy, quiet stance, and this is how I need to feel, you can actually start moving your body in the way that you need to in order to help your brain trigger to change how your tone is going to come out. So now you've aligned your body, what else are you supposed to do during the conversation? You're gonna watch for the other person's body language. So while you are speaking and being aware of this, and as you do it, I promise it will start to come more naturally. It's gonna feel a little weird at first, and that's completely normal and human and okay. You're changing something that you've lived with for a very long time. You're gonna look at their body language. And now that you've done that work to understand how your body works, most people are fairly similar to what that stance would be or what that positioning would be. And you can even, if you're unsure, check in with them to see what's going on for them. So if you're talking to someone and you think that you are being assertive, and you see they're falling back, they're enclosing on themselves, their arms are crossed, they're sitting back, it looks like they're pulling away from the conversation and actually starting to shield their bodies from you, chances are they feel that they are being attacked. And not that you're being assertive, but that you're actually being aggressive. If you see somebody leaning in, becoming open, that means that you actually have an inviting tone, that people want to absorb what you're saying. So watch for these different cues, and when you're in conversations with others, watch your body language and how you're feeling in that moment to start to understand those little nuances that come up. Now, you don't have to become an expert in body language to see some of the big signs. So just take a little bit of time, even a little bit of time a week, or even watching television to kind of observe and be the detective on other people's body language and that way this stuff will come more naturally to you. Now that you're tuned into the body language, yours and the other person's, check in to hear what they're hearing. At work, when I'm making a request of my staff to follow a specific directive or pay more attention to an area, it's extremely important that I have them reflect back what I'm saying and the message behind what I'm saying to ensure that my tone is coming across correctly and thus my message is coming across correctly. So when you go to speak to your staff and have a request from them, have them reflect back what they've heard and then why it's important. By just reiterating exactly what they heard, you're going to have a parrot as opposed to somebody that actually truly understands, and you'll be able to have more time to witness how they're feeling about that request. Because if they look like they're upset and not happy to do it, one, the quality's probably going to go down, and two, it's probably not going to be a sustainable behavior. So you need to check in and ensure that they are on board and happy about what's going on, or that they can clarify to gain further understanding and that your message has actually gotten across clearly. Something that I find very challenging is when I don't go in with the correct tone, and that means that somebody shuts down and isn't listening and they only pick up half of my message. So if I give them a 2-part step to do, and I've told them the first part, but ticked them off somewhere in between because they're in their head thinking about how mean I am right now, the second part typically doesn't get done because they've tuned it out. So you need to make sure that everything that they've heard has been noted, and if not, you need to do some work to figure out why did they not hear that second part. Was it your tone? Are you making people disengage and shut down? And at that point, you need to shift how you are approaching it and check into the tone that you are using. Now, different staff will react to your tone in different ways. So this may have to be modified based upon who you have on your team. One bonus tip for this during step is if you want to convey emotion and joy and inspiration in what you're saying, you need to smile while you are talking. We're naturally more engaged with somebody that actually has a smile on their face. By putting a smile on your face, everything gets elevated, everything gets lifted up. So take a second and check in, and you will build those facial muscles. I know it could be painful for the first little bit, but try to smile through those happy conversations and you will engage people more. So now you've had those conversations, our step 3 is to check in and get feedback. Please do not avoid this step. Do not be afraid of this step. This is going to be your number 1 learning. As fantastic as it is to take time and understand yourself and check in, we are our biggest blind spot. Without getting outside feedback, we typically miss a lot of the great opportunities for learning. And be forthcoming with people. Say that you're working on your tone and you want to understand the impact that your last conversation had on them. Did they feel that the emotion that you were trying to convey was in alignment with how they felt? What did they witness was happening in your tone and in your body, and were they aligned within that person's perception? I understand some people have a preconceived notion of you previously, and they might not be the first people to go to ask this to if you're feeling unsure and unsteady. So check in with somebody that cares about you and really wants the best for you, and it might be a little bit easier to take in this information, even though chances are if you think that things went really well, it could still sting. But sit with that. It is okay to be uncomfortable because you are learning. So take that time, and as you get more confident and build up your competency, you can go out and ask more people. Make sure they know that the purpose of this is to ensure that your thoughts are coming across as clear as you can, and that you do have that congruency in your speech, in your body language, and in the message that you are delivering. Most people are very happy to give you feedback if it means that it's going to make their lives easier and their lives better. So go and ask those questions and get the feedback. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever struggled with dealing with somebody else's tone, or if somebody's asked you to change your tone. Share that below so that I can understand a bit more about what questions you need answered around tone and what other exercises you would like to see. If you're interested in becoming a better leader, go and check out our video on the 7 essential skills to becoming a better leader within your workplace. I'm going to put a link right at the end of this video. Now, women, I want to speak to you specifically for a moment, because in business, very often when we are trying to be assertive, we come across as aggressive. And typically this doesn't have anything to do with you, your personality. It is about the way that somebody is interpreting your tone. Unless you're going in there screaming and yelling, in which case, yes, most people would definitely look at you as being aggressive, and that's because of your body language as well. If you are looking to come in as assertive, you need to really check into what story you are going in with. If you found these tips helpful, hit that like and subscribe button so that you can get our latest content. Remember to do something today to change your tomorrow. Until next time.